I can't marry you. I will only marry a man living abroad.
From the moment Evelyn turned 21, she carried a single belief with the confidence of someone who thought life owed her a special miracle. She told her mother, her friends, her pastor, and anyone who cared enough to listen that she would never, under any circumstance, marry a man who lived in her country. Her husband, she insisted, must be based abroad, not in the next state, not in a nearby country, abroad. People laughed at first, thinking she was joking. But when she rejected the fourth suitor within 2 months, they realized she was dead serious. Daniel came kind, established, thoughtful, but she turned him down with a smile. Victor came stable, generous, well-cultured, but she barely gave him a chance. Tony, who already owned property and adored her, came last, and she dismissed him without blinking. "Evelyn, what exactly are you looking for?" her mother asked one afternoon, trembling with worry. And Evelyn, with the kind of confidence only youth and fantasy could give, replied, "I deserve a man who lives abroad. I can't suffer in this country. I will marry only a man who can take me out of here." Her mother sighed. Her pastor warned her about pride. Her closest friend, Sarah, told her gently that life abroad wasn't always as shiny as Instagram made it look, but Evelyn was unmoved. Then, on an unusually quiet evening, something happened that made her heart pound in a way she didn't understand. A sleek SUV stopped in front of her house, and from it stepped a tall, neatly dressed man with an accent that didn't belong to her environment. He looked around, searching, until his eyes met hers, and he smiled like he had been waiting his whole life to meet her. "My name is Andrew," he said, extending his hand with a confidence that was almost intimidating. "I just returned from Dubai, and I've been hoping to meet someone exactly like you." In that moment, Evelyn felt destiny walking toward her. She believed her dream had finally come true. What she didn't know was that the dream she was embracing was the beginning of a nightmare that would change her life forever. Dating Andrew felt like stepping into a world Evelyn had only watched in movies. He dressed well, spoke softly, carried himself like someone accustomed to a life of comfort, and treated her with a level of attention that made her feel fragile and precious. He took her to expensive restaurants. He showered her with gifts she never expected. He told her stories about Dubai, the lights, the opportunities, the endless possibilities. To Evelyn, it felt as though God had specifically packaged him as a reward for her patience. Her friends envied her. Her neighbors whispered that she had finally hit the jackpot. But beneath the romance, cracks began to show. Whenever she asked about his job, he would tell her vague stories that sounded rehearsed. Whenever she brought up the topic of joining him abroad, he would kiss her forehead and say, "Soon, Evelyn, everything is falling into place. Just trust me." But he never gave details. Never explained when. Never explained how. And each time she tried calling him while he was abroad, he refused video calls, saying the network was bad or that he was tired. Her instincts whispered, "Something isn't right." Yet her obsession with marrying an abroad man blinded her from digging deeper. Until one evening, the evening that should have warned her to run, Andrew forgot his travel bag in her room. She opened it to return something she thought he misplaced. But what she saw inside stopped her breath mid-air. A rough uniform, an old pair of rubber gloves, a worker's badge with a job title that didn't match the stories he told her. And before she could fully process what she was holding, Andrew walked in. His entire face changed, the warmth vanished. replaced by a coldness she had never seen before. "Why are you touching my things?" he asked, in a tone that made her heart skip in fear. She stuttered, I thought." He snatched the items from her hand and zipped the bag shut immediately, his breathing heavy and uneven. For the first time since she met him, Evelyn felt unease, a deep, unsettling chill. But instead of stepping back, instead of questioning things, she convinced herself that she was overthinking. People say love is blind, but in Evelyn's case, pride blinded her more than love ever could. And 3 weeks later, she married him, not knowing she had just walked willingly into the greatest regret of her life. When Evelyn finally landed in Dubai, her heart was racing with excitement. She imagined stepping into a beautiful apartment with floor-to-ceiling windows, clean streets, and a life far better than anything she left behind. But the moment Andrew opened the door to their home, her excitement collapsed. It was not an apartment. It wasn't even a decent room. It was a small, suffocating box of a space barely fitting a mattress, a tiny gas cooker, and a single fan. The place smelled like someone else had lived there and given up on life. "Andrew, what is this?" she whispered, her voice trembling. He looked away. "This is where I stay, for now." "For now?" Evelyn choked. "You told me, Andrew, you painted a completely different picture of your life." But Andrew didn't answer. He simply sat on the bed, exhausted. That night, Evelyn couldn't sleep. Her body was in Dubai, but her spirit was sinking somewhere far beneath the city. The next morning, she followed Andrew to work, determined to finally understand who she married. She entered the tall building after him, and froze when she saw something she would remember for the rest of her life. Andrew, her husband, her abroad man, the man she bragged about, was wearing the same uniform from the bag she once opened. He wasn't in an office. He wasn't in a company meeting. He wasn't doing anything close to what she imagined. He was on his knees, in a public restroom, holding a brush, washing toilets. Evelyn's body shook violently. Her vision blurred. Her throat tightened until she thought she would choke. Andrew looked up at her with tears in his eyes. "I didn't lie to hurt you," he said softly. I didn't want you to leave. This is the only job I could find." Evelyn stepped backwards slowly, her heart breaking louder than her footsteps. Her dream had turned into a nightmare, and she had walked right into it willingly. That night, Evelyn faced 2 choices, both of them painful. She could return home and face the humiliation of a lifetime. She could face the friends she mocked, the suitors she rejected, the neighbors who warned her. She could face the laughter, the gossip, the shame of going abroad, only to discover reality the hard way. Or she could stay in Dubai, swallow her pride, and accept a life she had once considered beneath her. If she returned home, people would say, "She wanted an abroad man. Now look at her. She rejected good men in Nigeria. She went to Dubai and ended up washing toilets." Her pride couldn't survive that. Her ego couldn't tolerate the thought. Her reputation couldn't withstand the embarrassment. So Evelyn made a decision, the most humbling decision of her entire life. She stayed. She took a job, the same job she once mocked. She woke up before dawn. She cleaned floors until her back ached. She scrubbed offices with tears running down her face. She mopped restrooms while thinking of all the men who once begged for her hand. Every day broke her. Every shift humbled her. Every paycheck reminded her of the pain of wrong choices. But in the middle of her tears, something unexpected happened. Andrew changed. The struggle made him gentle. The hardship made him more responsible. The guilt made him more loving. Together, they saved money. Together, they pushed through the shame. Together, they built a better life slowly, painfully, honestly. And one night, while looking at the city lights from their slightly better apartment, Evelyn whispered through tears, "I chased abroad and lost myself. I chased a place and ignored character. I thought location was destiny. But character is the real foundation of a good life." Her story became a warning she wished someone had forced her to take seriously. Marry love. Marry kindness. Marry character. Not location, not fantasy, not pride.